redshirt senior here at EIU, and this is my second year pole vaulting here. I transferred here last year from the University of Georgia. I was a gymnast for 13 years and I ended up quitting because of a back injury. I didn't think I was going to be able to vault anymore because of my back. Basically my whole world was like shattered because I wanted to make the Olympics for gymnastics, so that's another reason why I started pole vaulting. I just wanted something else to try to be the best at. I have been going around for 3 weeks trying to make a height for the Olympic trials, and at that point I thought that I was in, but 3 girls had jumped in front of me, so I was trying to get a higher height a couple weeks before the trials, and I ended up not jumping any higher, but finding out the day before that my height had made it in, my height of 14.2, and I was in South Carolina and they called me and said that I had made it in, and I did my best I could to make it out to Oregon, and I got up there and they did not let me compete because I was late, so I had to watch them in the stands and I should have been out there.
They told her the night before that she had got into the trials, and I tried reaching her on the phone, but she already went to bed, and I've had different coaches calling me. And so in the morning, her and her mom tried to get a flight out there and couldn't find anything that would get them out there in time. And they had a rain delay, and so her and her mom ended up flying out there, and because she didn't check in on Friday, they didn't let her compete. So
USATF just decided, since I was late, that they wouldn't let me compete. But it did get rained out for 2 days. They moved it 2 days back, and I still asked, and they said that there's a policy saying if you're late, you can't compete, so they did not let me on the runway. But
it was really kind of a sketchy situation that, I didn't even feel like she had enough notification to even make it out all the way to Eugene, Oregon. I took it as there needs to be some changes for qualifying standards, qualifying meets, regulations on what makes it in and what doesn't, and also there needs to be an allowable time period for people to have to make plans to book a flight and get hotel arrangements and get everything set up to make it to Olympic trials. You can't expect somebody to be able to do that the night before the trials. So I just feel like there needs to be some changes and a little bit more organization. So it was pretty hard on her that she didn't even get the chance to compete. She showed up, they hadn't even competed yet, but because she didn't check in on Friday, which they let her know Thursday night that she got in, they didn't let her compete. So it was really difficult on her. I know she had a hard summer this year dealing with the fact that she made it in but didn't even get a chance to compete.
It was the worst feeling in the world. I wanted to be out there. I made the height to get in. I did everything I could, and there's nothing else I could have done to change that.
The Olympic trials comes around once every 4 years. It's really hard to tell somebody, it's okay, you'll move past it, you'll make it to the next one. It's really hard to tell somebody that, but the main thing I told her is, keep doing what you're doing, stay healthy, and you'll be there in 4 years, and hopefully you'll be a contender by that point.
I lost a lot of weight after the Olympic trials, and I was just going through a lot because I was upset that I wasn't able to be out there and compete, because I had been looking forward to that the last 4 years, and just went to the doctor and they said that I had just stressed myself out a lot. And
that's how much it means to her that, that was a big goal that she had last year, make it to the trials. And when she doesn't reach her goals, it's difficult on her. She takes it a lot harder than a normal athlete, and to be at a higher level, you got to be a little bit different. So it was very difficult on her, and I tried to console her, but eventually we just got to the point where we're like, got to let it go. You got to focus on the next Olympic trials. You can't let this hold you back anymore. And I think she's moved on from it, and we're looking towards this year. We're looking for indoor nationals, outdoor nationals, and outdoor USA championships. And
I did complete my dream. I did make the Olympic trials. I just didn't get the experience that I wanted. So next Olympic trials, I'm going to go out there and kick some butt. that I really want to clear is 16 feet. That is about a half a foot higher than the American record, and I also just want to jump as high as I possibly can, whether that means breaking the world record or the collegiate record or all-American record. I just want to jump as high as I can and not stop till I have to. I would describe myself as motivated, and I'm an easygoing person, and I'm very goal-driven.
To the point where sometimes I have to pull her away from the track sometimes and tell her to go home and rest her body and take it easy sometimes, because I mean I haven't ever seen a girl that wants it more than her. She puts everything she has into pole vaulting, and it means a lot to her.
I'm really disciplined. I'm always in bed by like 9 or 10 o'clock. The other night I stayed up till 11 and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how people stay up this late. I was just so tired. I always try to get as much sleep as I can, and I'll write before practice my goals, and after practice I'll write down everything that I need to prepare for the next day and the next meet.
So the main thing I always tell my athletes is do the best you can. At the end of the day, if you do your best you can, I'm gonna accept it, whether we're at conference, if you didn't do so well or you didn't do well. The preparation leading from August all the way up till the end of February or the end of May, whenever we have conference, that if you've done the best you can up to that point and you competed hard and as well as you could at the meet, that's all I can ask for as a coach. I don't want my athletes to feel any extra pressure beyond that.
Kyle Ellis, who's my coach now, and he helped me train for the Olympic trials last year, and I couldn't be happier here. As a vaulter, I don't think that I would have jumped anything close to what I jumped last year if it wasn't for him going out and helping me extra. And
as you get higher as a pole vaulter, the PRs are harder and more difficult to come by. So a 6-inch improvement in a year is good. And when I told her when she came here is, this is going to be the hardest year, as far as pole vaulting goes, because we're going to change a lot. I mean, we changed the way she ran with the pole, we changed the way she held the pole, we changed, her sprint mechanics, we changed the way she planted the pole. We just made a lot of difficult changes last year, and it was a hard season. It's very stressful on the athlete to go all through those changes, and they don't always come through at the meet time. You kind of go back to what is comfortable. So you're trying to make this change, and you're trying to get it to stay, and it's challenging. And already this year, it's so much easier. Like, we already have those changes in place. Now we're just fine tuning a couple of things. So I can already tell mentally it's a lot less stressful on her already this year.
Make sure when we do stuff like this, write it down on the board. So whatever you get today, write it on the sheet.
And we practice probably 3 to 4 hours a day, depending on if we do extra that day or not. And we also get in the pool in the rec room, and we do underwater pole vaulting as a drill.
I really study the event as far as like the biomechanics and the science behind the sport, and we do a lot of drills where we break it down to the fundamentals. And basically, I take the vaulters and we go backwards and we build a foundation, and we try to move to the more advanced, components after that. But we really start at the most basic fundamental aspects of pole vaulting and kind of build up from there.
Once we get to about that second week in January, we're going to train hard again. We're going to start increasing the weight, lowering the reps, working on some like pure speed, running pursuit runs, sled pulls, stuff like that. Okay.
I think I'm a pretty honest coach. I don't, I give positive feedback when I feel like there needs to be positive feedback. I give negative feedback when there's negative feedback. I tell it the way it is. I don't really sugarcoat it all the time. I feel like you have to be honest with your athletes, and you have to tell them when they're doing a good job and when you see hard work. But as a coach, you always want more from the athletes.
Every time I pick up the pole, I just want to jump as good as I can jump, and my goal for this indoor season is to break the indoor collegiate record of 14:11. To follow my heart, that means to keep pole vaulting and completing my dream is really important to me, and I don't want to back out of that. Everyone goes through hardships, and that's what makes you a better person and also a better pole vaulter. And just knowing that when I make the next Olympics and when I do good this year, I'm going to look back and know that I got through all of that stuff.